Yo, what's going on, guys? SMH Super Mario Hoops back with some more hoops. And today I kind of have an interesting video for you guys, kind of an NBA talk. So recently I just got pulled up on LosPollosTV's stream the other day. Unfortunately, Los was not there. I know, pretty disappointing. I mean, he was there, he was just sleeping. Obviously he was doing a big subathon thing, and he was switching like on and off with his brother and his dad, who actually both were there. So I got to talk to his brother and his dad about some NBA topics. We talked like about D Rose, the whole MJ, LeBron, Kobe debate, and there was a bunch of stuff like that. I think it's kind of ironic because I've been asking Los like on Twitter DMs or Instagram DMs like for months now, like, hey, like, want to be on my podcast? I mean, I haven't told you guys this, but I've kind of wanted him on Baloney Basketball for quite some time. It'd be kind of cool, I think. So Los, I don't know if you're watching this. If you are, it's basically just like an NBA talk show, you know, talking about our opinions on some of the biggest stuff in NBA history or in the NBA right now. So if that interests you at all, that'd be cool to have you on the show for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna play a clip of the stream the other day where I was talking to his dad and his brother about all those NBA stuff. Now I'm gonna say a few things before we get into this. First of all, it was like 1:30 in the morning. So, I mean, I was kind of tired. I wasn't like really completely focused, I'd say. Second, it was through Discord. So some of the stuff, like if we're like talking over each other, then you'll know why. It's not like just randomly shouting out something. It's just sometimes like I couldn't hear him at certain times and vice versa. So that kind of makes sense. Third, and I let most of the talking kind of go to his dad and Jake, because I mean, the segment was called like Ask Dad and Jake. That's like what it is. It's kind of like an Ask Los type of thing if you guys watch his stream, and I didn't really want to take away from that. I mean, I kind of wanted to voice my opinions here and there, you know, when the time came, but I didn't really want to be like the one talking throughout like the whole entire thing, because I think most people wanted to hear, you know, those two talk mainly. So I did talk quite a bit, probably not as much as like Baloney Basketball, but I did say quite a bit of things. And the last thing that I have to say is that if you guys don't follow LosPollosTV and his stream, his chat, then you're probably gonna see his chat and be like, well, what are they talking about? Really confusing. Like some of these guys are like really stupid, really annoying. And I get that because his chat is complete trolls at points. It's kind of funny. So it's kind of, a lot of it is just a joke. I mean, I take it with like a grain of salt. I know sometimes I already like looked through the chat like during the time I was on there, and some of that was just hilarious. They were just making fun of me like every other chance they got. So, I mean, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. I don't know who else is going to watch this. I don't know if any of Los's fans are going to watch this. It'd be kind of cool though. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy me kind of talking just, I guess, with Mr. Polos and also Los's brother Jake. So I hope you enjoy.
Two major NBA questions.
Wait a minute, hold on. I like that though.
Okay, okay.
That could be fun.
All right. Yo.
How you doing, man?
Yo.
How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna get pulled up.
Where you calling from?
I'm from Indiana.
Nice. So that's the
Pacers guy?
Actually, no.
No?
I'm a Bulls guy.
Oh, okay. Were you born and raised out there, or you're transplant? Where are you from?
Nah, I was raised out here,
Nice,
but I live like
nice.
closer to Chicago.
Are you
than, like,
near?
Minneapolis, so.
Are you near? What's the place? Where is Larry Bird from? French Lick? You anywhere near French Lick?
Nah,
No.
I think that's like a few hours away from me.
Yeah, it's a big state. It's a big state. So you're a big hoop fan? You're a big NBA fan?
I am.
Yeah. What's going on? What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's going on with the NBA? What do you think's gonna happen?
Well, what I kind of hope was gonna happen, I kind of am on the same wave as Jake. I kind of hope it like all comes back around like June or so. You know, maybe like a shortened season, but get everything done by about August, September would be kind of dope.
I
but
know.
It's not really looking that good right now.
I don't think so, man. I really, you know what? It's a shame. I don't think so. We were just, a guy called in before. We were just talking about that. I don't know. I just think that the sad part of it is, I was saying before. I don't know if you heard this, but I think in the whole scheme of things, the goddamn Warriors are going to make out the best, which is it's just crazy to me. But whatever.
I don't like that.
No. I don't
think anyone.
I don't like it either. But
I literally don't think anyone in the chat would like that.
I think we're probably looking at a canceled season, unfortunately. And it is what it is. It's not anybody's fault. This is just, this is what's going on in the world right now. So I think that's, looking ahead to next year. What do you got some you got some things you want to talk about as far as the NBA, or just comments or what?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask kind of about the Bulls. So, I mean, I like personally, I'm like 19,
Yeah.
so like I didn't get like one of my biggest regrets. I didn't get to see like Jordan like play, growing up. Which
Yeah.
I mean, I consider him to be probably the greatest of all time.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I mean, that's kind of unfortunate, but
Sure.
I mean, I kind of grew up more in like the Derrick Rose era, so
Yeah.
that's why he's my favorite player. So, what do you guys? I mean, this is for both of you. What do you guys think about Derrick Rose, and then with Michael Jordan? I mean,
So I think
for obviously Dad, how was it
I
watching
think
him?
Derrick Rose was a phenomenal talent.
It's horrible.
I think that I think the one thing that plagued him was more than anything else was injuries.
Oh yeah.
But I think he was a phenomenal talent, and unfortunately, he never. My opinion is he never hit the potential because he just couldn't stay healthy. But listen, man, the guy was an MVP. And listen, no knock on him, and nothing to be ashamed about. The guy just was, he had the injuries. Who is he with now? Who's he with?
He's on the Pistons.
The Pistons.
He's on the Pistons. I know. Wasn't it 1 or 2 years ago? Didn't he have like a nice? Wasn't there like a little bit of a comeback? Like,
Yeah, when he was on the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. Right,
Yeah.
Right.
He scored 50.
Right. That's right. He had the 50-point game. So I remember. I think we watched
That was
game.
crazy.
I think we watched that game.
Yeah.
So listen. Here's the thing. I think he, phenomenal talent. Unfortunately, like so many
is the best.
like so many other guys, unfortunately, it's like it was never, it just never was type thing, and because of injuries, it's life, man, and that's. I'm gonna make one point, and I'm not trying to cause trouble and turn this whole thing into a whole nother discussion, but I want to say one thing: the national championship. So
Right.
I watched Jordan literally his entire career, the whole thing. When he stopped and played baseball, his dad got killed, and he came back and he wore number 45.
45.
Yeah.
Like,
So I watched the whole. I watched him. I watched Jordan. I also, then I watched Kobe's entire career.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning, Lower Marion out of Philly, boom, Lakers, the whole. I mean, you guys. I mean, obviously after he passed, I mean, everything was just the whole career, everything.
Yeah,
And
it was not a fun time.
and then in the early 2000s, a good friend of mine, good friend of our family, and our families are really close, and Lewis's buddy and everything else. I'm having a conversation with a really, really great high school coach by the name of Kevin Boyle, and we're talking, and he said, you know about this kid LeBron James? And I was like, yeah. So 3 years in a row, Mr. Ohio, the whole thing. I mean, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the whole bit. So you're talking about, there's some overlap, but you're talking about 3 different eras of basketball, give or take. I mean, it's overlap there, right?
Yeah.
I think where we stand and where we have been for probably the last, at least the last 10 years, give or take. The parity that you now have in the NBA. I'm not saying like high school. I mean, that's obvious. High school, college. I'm talking about in the NBA. The parity that you have now with these teams and these players is really, it wasn't like that. It really wasn't like that. Now you have a situation where you have a lot of parity with players and a lot of parity with teams. Okay. So
Yeah,
Michael,
I think I saw something about how like Shaq would have joined the Bulls or something like in the 90s if it was like then now.
Yeah.
right. That's a very
Like
so
that.
that's a you know what you're talking about. You absolutely know what you're talking about. That's a phenomenal point. You just didn't have that then. I mean,
Yeah.
listen. You can't deny the obvious where Jordan had Scottie Pippen, and a lot of people don't realize Scottie Pippen is a top 50 all-timer in the NBA. I mean, I want you to understand that. He's a top
he is.
50 all-timer. So Jordan had a phenomenal, second fiddle to him, who was a standout, phenomenal player, and they did a real nice job by putting guys around him that would run through a brick wall. I mean, they had some guys on the team that were just maniacs. I mean, the one we think of is what you talk about, Rodman.
Oh yeah, Rodman.
Rodman would kill you and your whole family. I mean, like without even batting an eye. The guy was a maniac. Greatest rebounder. He was insane. So you look at that, and you look at the parity in the league and the other teams. Yeah.
See this?
What?
Jordan's 1-9 without Pippen.
I'm not doing that. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, I don't like that argument
This whole
at all.
thing. This whole thing with. I'm not doing that. This whole thing with obviously he needed Pippen. I mean, are we not? I mean,
you can't win a championship without another good player.
Hold
He just needed something. I'd say.
We obviously knew this. Okay, that's a
Well, besides
that's a point. I'm not going to get into that whole thing. We know that. Okay, he had Pippen, and history is what it is. They were very successful together. Then you move into this next era where Kobe came in. And you had that duo of Kobe and Shaq, which was just holy shit, man, phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. But my point being is, when I just fast forward a little bit, and I'm talking to my friend who is again arguably one of the best high school coaches in the country, and we start talking about LeBron. And I saw him like once or twice on ESPN, in high school. They showed those games. That was very odd to do that then. Now they do it all the time. Mm-hmm. But back then they didn't do it as much. So he was on TV. I saw him, and they've had like on the new ESPN and things like that. And then he gets to the Cavs, and right away he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna tell you is this. And again, everyone, and I said this the other day when we started talking, everyone kind of retreats to their own little corner. Like, if you believe that hands down Michael Jordan was the greatest ever, and that you are going to start your team with him, like if I have the first pick, I'm taking Jordan. If you believe that, no one's changing your mind. No one is going to change your mind. And you know what? It's a fantastic argument, and we're going to probably be talking about this till the end of time. And no one should try to change your mind or convince you or tell you you're wrong. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, there's arguments for right, that with LeBron,
sure,
Kobe, Bird, Magic. All those guys can go into detail.
I'm going to say this much. Here's what I am going to say though. And this is a guy who watching basketball from the mid '70s. I believe in my heart the three greatest players, overall basketball players. I'm not talking about scorer. I'm not talking about defense. I'm saying overall. If you're saying, no deficiencies, and if they were, very slight. The three greatest players with my own eyes that I watched, and I'm talking about from the mid '70s. So I can't go back and talk about Bill Russell and Chamberlain. Like, I watched videos of those guys and shit. Michael, Kobe, and LeBron are by themselves, and
they're the three most influential. Of course.
Well, you're talking about here, but Jake, you just made a great point. I don't even know if you realized the point you made, but from a marketing standpoint,
100%.
Think about Jordan.
Shoes.
Think about Jordan. There wasn't really anyone like that who was doing the commercials. Do you remember Mars Blackman? I don't know if you guys I'm going way back. You could look this up on YouTube. Mars Blackman, they did these commercials. Who's the little guy, the director who got...
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee. Spike Lee played this character, Mars Blackman, with Michael Jordan for the sneakers and the Nike and the whole bit. Like, this was an era where he was the face. He was the man. You just didn't have that with anyone else. So you had Jordan. And then you come into that era of Kobe, and then Kobe with the sneakers and the whole bit, right? And then obviously with LeBron, but you're talking about from a marketing standpoint, and from I'm talking about just balling, just getting on the court and playing. Those three guys, they were overall. Now listen, we're gonna say, what about Magic and Bird? I get it, man. Believe me, all-time scorer Kareem, I get it. I'm talking about a skill set all the way around. I'm talking about lockdown defender, can shoot, pass, IQ, like phenomenal IQ, right? Basketball IQ. So when I talk about this stuff, I know there's a lot of people that are throwing out names and this and that, and I get it, man. I get it. What I'm just telling you, this is. I'm just giving you. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right. I'm giving you my opinion of someone who lived through this and watched every one of these careers. Like I'm talking about, I watched these guys from like day one until retirement, and then now we're watching LeBron at the end. Now, with all that said, there's never been a player like LeBron. Well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You don't know. Listen to me. Do you understand the size of this guy? Understand his size. 6'9". Some people say he weighed as much as 270, 260. Okay? He can defend. He's in his 17th year. He's averaging double digits in assists. He's a phenomenal passer. So what I'm saying is, I'm not getting to the argument saying, oh, LeBron is better than Michael and Kobe. I'm not. What I'm trying to tell you is, it's even difficult to compare because of what we're talking about here. It's difficult.
Right.
It's difficult to compare because there's never really been anyone like LeBron. Maybe you could say from a standpoint of the size and the passing skill is maybe Magic. Magic wasn't as athletic.
And the reason that the comparison's good between Kobe and Jordan is because Kobe was like almost like a carbon copy of Jordan a little bit. Like the way they shot,
I mean, you can't.
The size.
I mean,
the
Jake,
position.
you can't say it any better than that. And,
It's
and
literally
again,
like
Yeah.
and listen, and the thing is, there are people. I mean, I've gotten into. I'll admit it. I've gotten into arguments with guys about this. Like, oh, you.
Yeah,
saw
and
it,
I mean,
you know,
I don't mean to like cut you off, but I know like
No.
you can make an argument for just about everyone that like you guys have mentioned, and I know like the main thing for me is just like, I mean, I've seen LeBron growing up almost like his whole career. I've seen Kobe for a majority of his career. It's just I never got to see MJ. I mean, I was only alive for like the few years he was with like the
but the
Wizards.
nice thing,
And,
though,
I mean, that's not really
here's
the
the
MJ
thing,
we
though.
think of.
Here's the beauty of the time that we live in now. You could sit down, and you could sit down for 6, 7, 8 hours. You could watch
watch
entire game. I'm not talking about highlight reel, like, oh, Jordan dunking,
Yeah.
and I mean, he was phenomenal. The guy was an insane athlete, insane. He could jump out of a fucking building. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you could watch entire playoff games. You could watch entire games and get a better feel, as opposed to just somebody telling you he's the best and go watch a highlight reel. That's fine, but watch these playoff games and watch, and again. You know, and I just saw something that came up, and I have to tell you, it really bothers me a lot. And it was one guy that said it, and it's probably just, maybe he just threw it out there to just be, provocative or whatever. But I heard someone just said Kobe's overrated. All right, so let me tell you about, let me just talk a couple minutes about Kobe. Kobe Bryant was a stone killer, okay? Stone. They talk. I mean, and I didn't even know about all this stuff after he passed away. I know about like the books and everything and the Mamba mentality and all that. I'm telling you right now, this dude was clutch. I mean,
Yeah.
And we're talking about no deficiencies, none. I mean, the guy was just. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, defense. I mean, he was nasty, and I think what gets lost. And what people forget, or maybe the younger guys didn't even really see it, is the fact that this guy was, a phenomenal generational talent. And you have, understand what he did, man. 18 years old. 18 years old, he comes out and just starts and just takes over. I mean, it's really an amazing. So these three guys. Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, those are my three guys. If anyone wants to discuss, because I'll point out deficiencies with other players, and you want to start going back and talking about players from the 70s and the 60s,
we sat and watched.
Well, I know, Jake, but Jake, you have a very, like I'm watching.
We watched the 1970.
We were watching 1970 game between the Lakers and the Knicks, and Jake was roasting everybody. I mean, and I understand why. I get it, because you're looking at it. You're looking at it from the standpoint of, just obviously, the same level of athleticism. So just to kind of just loop all the way back to your point and what we were talking about. I mean, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. I mean, it's like you're talking about, you know, just a legend, right? And then you're talking about Kobe, and then you're talking about LeBron. The reason why I just look at LeBron and I put him in a different category, like I was saying before, is there. And when I say there's never been anyone like him, I want you to think about, you get these two guys that are 6'6", the Kobe and Jordan, 6'6", you know, maybe 210, 205, maybe 212. I don't know, whatever they weighed when they played. I don't know. And then you got a guy 6'9", who on the light end was 250, 255 light, right? Maybe he probably played heavier.
That's a bit generous, a bit too low, I'd say.
And he's a point guard. And he could cover, he could D up a center. I watched this last game. When they played against the Clippers. He was locking down Kawhi. Did you see that? Did you watch that, Jake? Did you not see that?
I saw that.
I saw that.
I don't know.
I think
LeBron really played good defense that game. I don't know if it was completely locking him up.
No. What I'm saying is,
and the game before,
you're not going to lock.
Giannis, when he played Giannis, he was strip stealing.
Okay,
Giannis,
my point was that over that weekend, and this is when, this just, to me, in my mind, this just cemented everything that when I talk about this stuff. It was a Friday night and a Sunday, right, Jake? Right? The Friday night and a Sunday they played the Bucks
first and then the Clippers.
And the Clippers. And I watched the entire game, both games. No interruption, start to finish. I'm watching this guy. What's LeBron now? 35, 36?
35.
I'm watching this guy move his feet on defense, not reaching in, grabbing. No, he's moving his feet, and he was getting in front of these guys. I mean, and I'm looking at this, I'm going, this is incredibly difficult. You know, when you think about a guy with this type of wear and tear, and the fact that he's playing that kind of defense, and then the passing, and then the shooting, and all this other stuff. And this is why I'm saying, I'm not knocking, this is not a knock on anybody else. What I'm just saying is, for you to say, all right, let's compare side by side. Physically, you can't compare the two. Whether it be Jordan or Kobe, you just can't compare.
I don't mean to interrupt or anything.
No, please jump in. I'm just.
I mean, the whole thing for me personally is, tying back to Jordan. Just, when we look at, you could go to school the next day and say, Kobe beat the Suns, or LeBron beat the Magic, or Lillard just ended the Thunder or something. But you couldn't really do that about Michael Jordan with the Jazz or the Cavaliers. I didn't really have that luxury, and that's something that. I kind of would feel bad about.
Well, the thing is, if you're looking at this whole thing, I'm just, I'm always glad to have the conversation, when I talk about my top three guys. And now again, there are people that, no matter what happens, till the end of time, Jordan's the GOAT, and I respect that. I'm not going to try to change your mind, but what I'm not going to budge on. And I'll have the conversation with anyone. What I'm not going to budge on is, I'm talking about when I say no deficiencies. I'm saying Jordan, I'm saying Kobe, I'm saying LeBron.
That's all you need.
And I can't. And if you want to, and there are guys that are like, well, let's talk about Bird. I watched Bird play. Bird couldn't jump over a newspaper, and I'm not knocking him because that wasn't his game. He wasn't a jump out of the building type of guy. He was a brilliant player, phenomenal shooter, great passer. But yeah,
I'd say underrated defender too. But
yeah, listen, he was tough. Remember something too, though. You talk about the '80s. Defense was played very differently then. You drove to the basket, somebody can knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a common foul. Now,
actually, my dad, he just showed me because he was showing.
What happened?
How he originally shot with one hand, and he showed me a clip, and he literally just elbowed a guy straight to the ground. And I'm thinking, if that was today, they might be ejected.
Dude, if you fart on someone, it's a flagrant 2. If you break wind on someone, you're thrown out of the game. It's just a very, in all fairness, it's a very different game. Go ahead.
They're asking about your thoughts on Lou Alcindor.
So the other day. By the way, dude, great call, man. It was nice talking to you, bro.
Yeah,
I
I
enjoyed
mean,
it.
I've had fun.
Thank you, man. And like I said, for me, this has been, you know, I just started doing this to help out Lewis a little bit, and kind of, you know, help. And Jake's been we'll talk about Cream in a second, but I just want to say this. That was you know, real good insight. You really know your stuff, and I appreciate the call. And like I said, I'm having fun doing this. So just go back to YouTube and just start pulling up all the Jordan stuff, and it's amazing stuff, man. And pull up his commercials too, with Mars Blackman. Pull those commercials up on YouTube.
I'll continue watching like over and over. I mean, it's always a blast. Like the D-Rose stuff, I think that was a good combo.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just want to again. I mean, before I
Sure.
Jake, I mean, Los isn't here right now, but I mean, even though everyone trolls him, I think we can all agree that down low he's a W.
Well, listen. I mean, I think everyone. Listen. Everyone also knows that. If he's, I mean, what makes everyone laugh and what's funny is when people do troll him and he gets pissed. I mean, there's probably nothing funnier than that, and everyone knows it. And I talked to him about this, and I'm like, could you imagine, like, what would you? I mean, like him just sitting here, like, just having a nice, like, this is.
I can't watch people. I
listen.
Can't watch streamers that are like
listen.
that.
What we're doing right now, we know what we're doing right now. We're this is a little bit of a different thing, right? Like, we're talking about subjects. We're having fun. Obviously, we know what we're doing here. His shtick, his whole thing, we know what that is too, and it's a blast. I mean, obviously it's a blast, or there wouldn't be, or you guys wouldn't be watching him. He's hysterical, and you know, and he's like this guy trolling me, and I mean, I watched these Ask Los, and it's like literally not one person has a normal question. Literally everyone is like, and I mean, I don't watch him live a lot, obviously, because he's up so late and everything else, but like I watch these YouTube things, and man, like I laugh my ass off. It's so fucking funny, man. But that's who he is, and that we're all so I think what we're all trying to do, and I think we're gonna do it. We're all trying to help him out. And if he can get to this, whatever this goal is, I still don't know what the exact number is, but if he can get to this goal,
we're at 122.
Yeah.
45. It's got to get to 160.
If we could all of us come together, and we have the time to do it now because we're all trapped in a house. If we could all come together and do this for him, it's gonna be everyone who achieved it. It's obviously not just him. So that's what's
Yeah, I was
kind of
spamming
fun.
that the first day. I think like after like 12 hours, 'cause I know Lo said something like how he wasn't even like sleepy, and I'm like, well, I mean, if he's not sleepy, like I just wonder like what the longest record is, and then I started sending it, and I'm like, maybe he'll go for it, and I think at this point, like you kind of have to, you know.
Well, no, listen, I think between, I mean, Jake, I mean, everybody knows this. I mean, Jake is fantastic. I mean, Jake did a phenomenal job. He does great on his own, but he's helping him out. And then we're giving him a chance to sleep. And then, you know, I was like, hey man, I'm home. And he's always been asking me, hey, come on, or, you know, and even after they show like my, you know, video, like the comedy and stuff, like, oh, come on and just like answer questions and have fun. So I started doing it the other day, and I'm just like, you know what? I have the time. I'm never gonna have this time again. I'm just not. I mean, when we get back to normal, I'm gonna be back at work and busy and everything else. So the fun thing is I have time to do this now, and and the timing's good because we can help out Lewis and hopefully get him to the record, and it'll be a cool thing. It'll be like, then that'll be it, man. He'll have the record, and you guys will always remember that. It'll be cool. But hey man, listen, thanks for the call, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully, buddy.
No problem.
Take care,
chat spam the moo how hows.
Be well, man.
Do that for the one time. All right. It was fun talking. Thanks, guys.
No, it was my pleasure. Thank you, bro.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right.